Good morning, guys. I'm Chris, and welcome back to this Sunday's episode of Rift Amps. Back working on the JMP. Sorry, I've still got this sore throat, so I know it triggers some people. I'm really sorry. I can't do anything about it, but it is what it is. So, again, you have my apologies. Anyway, back on with this JMP. I've finished all the work inside the full service, and I've just got it on the bench now, and I was just going to give it a final play test, and I want to show you something that doesn't appear on the oscilloscope, which is why you've always got to do a play check. Now, I've got the second mic up against the speaker, so you should be able to hear this. But even if I tap the table, you'll hear there's a noise. That one. So it's going to need a revalve. At least these two, because that's one noisy EL34. Such a shame. I thought we were going to get away with it, but never mind. So I'm going to have to quote the customer on a new set of EL34s, and then possibly V1 as well. Actually, it's not too bad. Okay, new set of JJ EL34s installed. Also, big shout out to customer Stuart, who gave me a whole bunch of new chopsticks for pointing and stuff with. So thank you very much, Stuart. I really appreciate that. These are now in, and I'll do the tap test again. Noise gone. Okay, so I'm just going to double check the bias on those once they've burnt in, and then we'll call this one good to go. The black panel bassman, the one that customer bought blind at auction, the one that I've done the partial rebuild on, is all up and running. I haven't touched any of the wires so far. All I did was put it back to stock. Do you remember the bass channel been converted to a pseudo Marshall-y thing? So I put that back to stock. We've done the classic AA 165 or AA 864 power section, so the hybrid build they call it, and we're up and running on the bench, and it's running lovely. So not far off on this one, not far off at all. A couple of tweaks I still want to do. But now I've got a good baseline to work from. I've just given it a play test. It sounds absolutely fantastic. So really happy with progress so far. There is still on this channel, if I turn the amp up, you'll see above a certain point we've got some really strange oscillations going on, which I suspect will be a similar issue to the Gary Moore amp. So it might just be a case of hunting down where that is, fitting a snubber cap, calling it done. Next thing, of course, is I need to get the cabinet apart, check the wiring for the speakers and everything else going on in there, make sure that's good, then it can all go back together and the customer can have it. But yeah, we're probably 95% of the way there with this now, which is really good news. Okay, back on with the Fender Bronco, the solid state little champy style thing. Remember, this is the one that had the snap shaft on the gain pot, and I was really struggling to find a replacement because in the value and taper that it is, it's not available anymore. Not available from Fender, not available on the aftermarket, and the pitch spacing of the leads are quite small. So aftermarket pots don't fit, and I really don't like bending things in that. So what's the solution? Well, thankfully, Fender do make the correct size pot in a different value. This is a 50k pot rather than the 100k reverse log pot that we need. for Fender Blues Junior, and that is still available. And as you can see, it is a correct size and fitment. So what we're going to do is, I have removed the wafer from the original pot. So this has got the resistance track on it. Can you see that? Yeah. And I'm going to transplant this into this housing. And that's the way we're going to fix it. I'm also going to put on the screen now some example, or some footage I took of the board and how many cracked solder joints I found on the underside, around the jacks, around the other pots. It was full of them. So this thing was way overdue for a service anyway. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead up now, pull the old wafer out. Sorry, the new wafer out, fit the old wafer to this enclosure, and get this reinstalled back into the PCB. Perfect. Here we have a little Mad Amp G3. Sorry, it's upside down. This is a German build-your-own amplifier kit that somebody's built in the past. They also made their own very cute little looking head cabinet for it, head shell. Very nice. Yeah, German-made, German-designed amplifier. 3 watts in output. It's a push-pull amplifier using both halves of a 6N6P Russian valve. Very nice powder coated chassis, very nice indeed. Let's look at the schematic here for it. Apparently they came in both the rock and the blues variants, this one of course being rock. So it's a pretty simple amplifier, not too much going on. So you've got obviously your standard triode gain stage, a 6N2P here, driving another one. Got gain control separating the two. First half of V2A is your anode follower for your tone stack. You've got a cathode style phase inverter, the other half of V2B. Then you've got a 6N6P in push, both halves of that in push-pull for the output stage. And that's about 3 watts. Nice levels of filtering going on here. And here's our heater supply, which is floating, tied to the cathode of the output stage. Very cool indeed. So what's this in for? Well, my customer has bought this. I don't know where from. and has brought it in, wants me to make sure it's being built to a reasonable standard, make sure it's safe, make sure it's performing as it should, you know, look to see if there's any improvements or upgrades we can do, you know, kind of just give it a once over, a good going through. He doesn't like the head cabinet, so he wants to commission or build himself like a mini plexi style amplifier, which would be really cool. I like the idea of that, but rather than having the chassis hanging from the ceiling, he wants to have it on the floor like most plexis do. So he's asked me to measure up and have manufactured for him a set of plexi style faceplates, front and rear. So this is the orientation the chassis is going to sit. We need to make sure everything's flipped over to work. Also going to get rid of the rocker switch and have a genuine plexi toggle switch, because he's got a couple of those he's going to send over in the post. Really cool idea. So let's have a look around this thing. So there's your three excuse me, your three valves. I assume V1, V2, V3 in that order. Got a toroidal, mains transformer. I've never been a fan of those, but I understand why some people like to use them. Here's your output transformer. It's unbranded, no name on it, but she's loose. So I have to sort that. Let's flip this thing over, have a look inside. And here we go then. So whoever designed this amp is clearly quite clever, because this is a nice layout, nice design, follows some good fundamental principles of amplifier design. I quite like it. It's very well done. And it's obviously done it to a way that, you know, the home hobbyist can have a go at building it themselves. So I haven't looked at the online instructions to see how things are done, but you know what, it's not bad. And this is probably a really fun little project to do at home. So obviously a tag strip design, all your components, most of your components on the main board, and then you've got your your socket components, most of them soldered directly to the sockets themselves. Very cool indeed. Nice star ground going on there. Separate safety earth, very nice. Yeah, not bad at all. So let's get this thing on the test bench and see what that sine wave looks like. And here we are then. So up and running on the bench. Unfortunately, it does have a 230 volt input. It doesn't have a 240 volts. So although it says it works on 220 to 240, but it's actually a 230 volt winding. So ideally we'd have it 240, but there's no alternative. Not much I can do about that. So at idle, it only pulls 23 watts out the wall. Let's have a look through. So today's voltage, wow, we are low today. 232 volts today. That is low. Anyway. I've gone past it. Yeah, so today's wall voltage 232, and it's pulling 108 milliamps of current out the wall. Anyway, back to wattage. So, as always, master on full. It's got 3-band tone stacks and mid on full. We'll advance the gain control. And there's our output sine wave. Now, the top half starts to go weird quite early on. So let's find a point where we'd say that's its cleanest output. Maybe there. 2 volts output, I'd say, into 8 ohms. Half a watt clean. Let's go back to this. To get the 3 watts we need smidge under 5 volts. Can we get 5 volts out of it? 3.8, 3.9, 4. That's 2 watts. So it drops off at high gain. 4.3. Let's mess with the tone controls. Nothing on there. Nothing on there. 4.5 volts is the most I can get. 2.5 watts. Okay. That's what it's doing. That's what it's doing. I think I'm going to go online, get the rest of the documentation for it, for the build docs, and we'll just go through it. But yeah, isn't that a cool little thing? Isn't that a fun little amplifier? Tell you what we should do. Let's stick a loop through it, shall we? Do you know what? I won't come across on camera because I'm not mic'd up properly. That doesn't sound too bad. I quite like that. That's a fun little amp with some good tone going on. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Things to think about. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to get the docs and go through it. But first thing I need to do really is measure up for the faceplates and get those on order. Thumbnail and title time then. So here we go. This is a I think it's a 1979, or it might be a 1980, Fender silver plate Pro Reverb, and this was bought new by its current owner in October 1980, so 44 years ago. And he's gigged it, he's rehearsed with it, he's recorded with it, he practices with it. This is his amplifier. It's his baby. It is the 70-watt model, the one with the push-pull master volume, the one that everyone hates, the solid-state rectification, but he loves it. And if you get one that's working and sounds great, it's an absolutely brilliant workhorse amplifier. So he's never had it serviced, he said. He's never had it revalved. There's been no service work inside. He said the main switch failed once and he repaired that himself. But apart from that, it's never been touched. Isn't that amazing? Now, he's also got some case candy with it. So, but I'll show you. I've covered up his details on the receipt, but he bought it from Friedman's Musical Instruments in London. And I'm just trying to be careful. Here you go. He bought it 25th of October 1980, and he paid £285. Okay. Now, in today's money, that's a smidge under £1,200, 1,200, which is convert to US dollars is around $1,500–1,600. So seems like a good price to me. But that's that. But anyway, here's the case candy. First thing he's got is the original owner's manual for the amp, with all the bits on. And as you know, it covered the 3 different models that this chassis was used in. All the information on and explained. This is brand new. It's like it was printed yesterday. All of the bits and pieces, what to go through, other bits inside that were available. I love all this stuff. But here's the cool thing. It's got the stapled on hang tag, master volume control with push-pull switch. Now, we know it's a rubbish feature. It doesn't sound good. Terrible thing. But obviously Fender were trying really hard to sell this. Absolutely love that. And there it is. As shiny as the day it was made. Isn't that cool? Now, if you think that's cool, check this out. This is a Fender catalogue. This is the Fender catalogue. Starcaster on the front. Deluxe reverb. 1, 2, 3, maybe. In fact, it's probably just a made-up amp. Anyway, in here, Once upon a time there was a handsome prince who, growing weary of merely rescuing damsels in distress, roamed the wide world to tame restless people with the resonance of his guitar. And yet, after some success, the multitudes grew disenchanted with the limits of his music. So the prince determined to seek out an instrument worthy of his desires. Thus, it happened that while wandering through a land called California, he met some wizards who offered him an electrifying discovery: the world's first solid-body electric guitar, the Fender electric guitar. And the multitude sang and danced with joy. That's fantastic. Anyway, so it's like it's printed by Fender. And it's got pretty much everything in it from the time. Look at that for a piece of artwork. I play inhumanely hot licks on my Stratocaster, said the caterpillar, and back myself with everything else. Oh, she's spike. This is fantastic. So obviously the Starcaster was the new guitar at the time. Jazzmaster. Oh, so the guitars are at the top and the amps are at the bottom in this double folding page thing. That's cool. Right. Dual Showman reverb. Super Twin. Ah, it's the Super Twin on the front with the two knobs there. Yep, Super Twin. God, I could look at this stuff for hours. Quad reverb. Oh, we've missed some. Super Twin, quad reverb. Super 6 reverb. Vibrasonic reverb. I rarely see Vibrasonics. Rarely see them at all. Twin reverb. With standard or JBL speakers. Bandmaster reverb. Super reverb. Pro reverb. Here we go then. 45 watts RMS, 100 watts peak. 8 tubes. 6 dual purpose, equivalent to 14 tube performance. Wow. Sign me up, I'll have 3. Vibrolux reverb. Princeton reverb. We missed the deluxe. Yeah, deluxe reverb. Small price to pay for a neat performer. God, this is a gold mine, this is. Princeton. It's a non-reverb model. Vibrachamp. I'm guessing the champ is afterwards. Yep, there she is. Was there anything? What's on the next page? Okay, so over to here. Right, I don't want to damage this book, so I'm just going to... Give me 2 secs. Are you back with me? So this is a really cool catalogue. This is it's just full of all your details, all your bits and pieces. But the coolest thing I found is the chart on the back that tells you which guitars they recommend to use with which amps, or which amps for which guitars. If you look at Stratocaster, all of them except Vibrasonic reverb and anything smaller than a Vibrolux. So you shouldn't use a Strat with a Deluxe, a Princeton reverb, a Princeton, a Vibrachamp, or a Champ. Not for those amps. Same with the basses, look. Oh man, this is so cool. Very interesting, love it. I'm going to have another look through this at some point. Right, let's look around the amp. So 2 channels, as you normally get. Both of these have got a treble, middle and bass tone stack. Treble, middle, bass. Reverb, speed, intensity. And this, of course, as I've shown you before, is the master volume with the push-pull boost on it. Let's rotate this thing around. It's on wheels, which is very handy. God, look how clean that rear panel is. So it's got the voltage selector on it. On-off switch. Jack plug's still got the Fender disc on it. Unbalanced pot there. Serial number A957767. Very cool. Original speakers, of course. Original tube chart or valve chart. Original foot switch. And he says both of the reverb and the tremolo still works. Original factory wiring. Original reverb bag, a bit dusty. But overall, very, very cool. Right, give me a few minutes. I'm going to pull the chassis out and we'll give it our usual inspection. Okay, here it is. And I'm telling you what, this is one of the cleanest amps I've ever come across. The chassis is immaculate. It's like a time capsule. Never see them this clean. See, this is what happens when they're not abused. They actually get looked after. So, mains transformer, 19th week of 79. Output transformer, 25th week of 79. Reverb transformer, 22nd week of 79. And of course, being an ultra-linear model, actually, I thought these ones did have a choke. Clearly not. But here we are. Very cool. It's got the original valve set in, the original 6L6s, all of the original preamp valves. All Fender branded. It all looks brand new. Look. That's as new as the day it came out of the box. Look, that is fantastic. Why are you fighting me? Come on. Get in the hole. There we go. It's just so clean. Obviously stored in a nice place at home. Probably in a bedroom or somewhere. But there's just nothing to it. So clean, even the switch is shiny as the day it was made. The insulation on that, brand new. This is crazy, 44 years old. Right, you think that's crazy? Tell you what, first of all, let's pull the doghouse. Actually, look at that screw. It's still shiny. See, this era of Fender amps are the ones that age the worst, right? They're always in the worst condition. They've always been abused. They always look like they've been through the mill. And then to find one, I mean, would you call it barn find condition? I think you would. Right. They're going to be original. They're going to be original. Look at the inside of that doghouse. Oh, right. Mallory caps. They're still shiny. I mean, you can see that one's starting to bulge. So we are looking at a replacement set, I think. But look, there's nothing to them. Even the resistors look brand new. I've never seen an amp like it. All right, let me just rotate this and we'll look at this side. Here we are then. So this one too has got a bulge, as you can see. Let me zoom you in. This one too. That one too as well, just under there. That one looks okay. And those two look okay. This thing, this amp, look, this is all factory, unmolested. Just incredible. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Anyway, flip it over. Let's have a look. Wow. Just wow. If, like me, you're a big fan of Fender amplifiers, you're really into them, the whole history of it, even what people consider to be the worst era of Fender amplifiers, when they're in this condition, just amazing. So, it's clean. In this chassis, it's still shiny. First thing I spotted actually was the matching serial number sticker inside, one that matches the number on the back. That is so cool. All of the electrolytics, all original. Look, 1 watt plate resistors throughout, as standard from the factory. It's got the blue mouldeds. Not the good blue mouldeds, but still blue mouldeds. Your master volume up there. Ultralinear taps with screen stoppers. There you go, 470 ohms. Just phenomenal. Just phenomenal. Obviously, the lead dress is typical late 70s Fender, so nothing to be surprised about, but it's all clean. It's all fresh. The only thing we know that's been changed or sorted out was the main switch, and he moved the fuse to the live rather than the neutral. That's all he's done. The rest of it is factory. I could stare at this for hours. And the thing is, he's played it. It's got hours on it. You know, this isn't an unplayed amp. This is an example of what happens if you just keep the amps in a nice place. Look after them. Keep them clean. That's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Wow. Okay. So, cap job is required. So what are we looking at then? The filter caps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, there's one down there. 6. 6 small electrolytics. The ones under the doghouse. Was there not one on the bias board? I need to get the schematic out and have a look. Familiarize myself with this circuit again. I mean, well, it's being so clean inside. What are the chances that it's got dirty pots? Probably quite low. Yeah, but looking at the bulges on those caps, I'm not going to fire it up till they've been replaced. So, we'll get those ordered up. BF&Ts, I would have thought. And take it from there. But even the board is it's hardly warped at all. It's got a slight lump here, where they usually go, but it's not excessive. Hardly. Look, I mean, there's still slack on the ground wires. Usually they're pulled tight by now. You know, this resistor here, the one that goes across the board, still got movement in it. Look at it. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So I'll stop gushing, sorry, but this is just one cool amp. Very lucky that I'm allowed to look at it, and it came with all the case candy as well. Fantastic. Well, that's it then, guys. Thank you very much for watching once again. As always, please give this video a thumbs up. All your comments and questions down below. Subscribe, join the channel, and I will catch you all at the next one.